Hello and greetings. My name is Shua and I am the host and founder of a podcast called Light Up with Shua. It's a weekly podcast on conscious living and parenting. I hope you are already subscribed to it, and if you haven't, please do so. You can find me on lightupwithshua.com, that's the website, and I have a YouTube channel. I am on iTunes, TuneIn Radio, Spotify, Castbox, and my Facebook page is also available. My links are on LinkedIn and Twitter. So I have a very special guest in my studio here today. His name is Saad, and you might have watched his brother's interview, and I hope you have watched him. And let's see, I would love to have your feedback. Which individual or teenager did you like to hear, or his replies were interesting to you? I don't want to compare them too much, but your feedback will be important. So without further delay, let's introduce Saad. Saad, could you tell me your full name, and thank you for being here.
So I'm Syed Saad Mohsin.
Okay.
I'm currently a rising junior at St. John's High School.
Okay. And what do you do? Like, do you have any other activities, or do you like to do, because it's summer, right? So you have been off. What did you do during the summer?
So I've been working on my science fair.
Okay.
And I placed second and third last year at the state science fair. Over the summer.
What was the project?
So
Can
my project,
you share that?
Sure.
Okay.
My project was on programming E. coli bacteria as means to create a therapeutic for Alzheimer's disease. I've been researching it by myself, but I've been contacting laboratories near Boston to intern and work with. And over the summer, I spent 3 weeks at the Longwood area. Longwood has Harvard Medical, Merck Laboratories. It also has the Boston Children's Hospital. And I worked at Simmons, and we got to work in the lab. We got to work with laboratory things like pipettes, micropipettes, laboratory safety. We went through all the procedures for that.
Well, so you're already in that area. So is that taking you in some direction that you are looking forward to go?
Well, it's something I've always been very interested in, science. And I've been trying to explore different fields in the science field. I was in the oncology class, and I've been interested in neurology as well. So I've sort of been exploring different areas, different camps that have shared interests with me.
Very nice. So that might make you a neurologist, or do you want to go into the medical field then?
I'm very interested in therapeutics.
Okay.
So creating drugs and medicines for different diseases.
Wow, what a clarity you guys have at this age. I don't think I had any clue at 16 like that. But anyways, so let's talk a little bit about parenting. How would you define parenting?
I think parenting is helping guide your child to grow up and become a better person. I don't think it's trying to make your child what you want to be, trying to shape your child. Oh, I want my child to be like this. It's sort of guiding them so they can become whoever they want to be. I think parenting is sort of giving your child morals and basically an attitude towards life, where they can be productive adults in the future and where they can be responsible for when they grow up and become older. I think parenting is also helping your child achieve what they want to do. I think supporting your child in whatever, if they want to become a doctor or a policeman or whatever, you have to support them basically.
Should the parents, that depends on the cultures, they try to impose what they think their child should be. What do you think about that?
I don't think parents should try forcing their views on what their child wants to be, because you can't really force someone to be something they don't want to. I think if you try doing that, you're probably going to backfire. People will become very angry at their parents if they're trying to, oh, you have to become this or you have to become that. I think true successful people are doing things they're passionate about. So if you're trying to make someone do something that they're not interested in or not passionate about, then they're not going to be successful in it. They're not going to try to work hard.
Wow, very nice. Seems like your parent did a good job. So you are independent. They let you be. Do you have agency over your decisions?
I think my parents let me be very independent. Usually, when I was going to Boston, I would take the train by myself, back and forth. I'll go through the city by myself.
Since when? What age?
I think when I went to my camp,
Okay.
So every day I'd wake up, I'd get dropped off at the train station.
This year?
Yeah, this year.
Okay. Okay.
And I think like it's very important for people to be very like independent in high school. Like one of my teachers, he told me that parents should basically let their children like make mistakes and like fall down.
They
in
should
high
let
school.
them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they should let them. That
Yeah.
way they learn, and like when they go to college, they're not making those same mistakes.
Right.
So being independent or being like allowing to make mistakes in high school will help them learn from their mistakes. So when they're better prepared.
So what is
for
the
college.
level or the grade, the stage that they should let them do the mistake, and where can they intervene? Do you have any examples or ideas about
I
that?
think we should start off very early on, because if you always like are trying to support your child or like trying to helicopter them, they're never going to like grow out of it. So I think it's slowly, I think sort of around like entering middle school-ish, like where it's like, okay, you're actually like middle school is like where you're actually entering like a proper
Yeah.
school, and then you're going into high school, which is actually very tough from middle school to high school.
Yeah.
So I think you should probably let your child, okay, go study by yourself, or don't like bother them, so they can get their own routine down. And they should really intervene if they're trying to like, oh, they're always like playing video games and
Yeah.
not doing homework, or
Okay.
they're always trying to do things that are very detrimental.
So it's
to
not a
them.
good thing to play video games too long.
Yeah, yeah. It's like it's
Do you do? Do you play? Do you
No,
know? You don't?
Oh,
wow.
yeah, I don't.
How did you not do that? Like everybody plays video games.
Like I used to be very like addicted in like middle school. Like I would play a lot of like online video
Yeah.
games. But I think sort of around high school started like I just lost interest. I did not like it. I think I realized I wanted to do more than just play video games.
Oh, nice.
And for me,
so that was your own awakening, I guess.
yeah,
Oh,
I guess so.
okay,
Yeah.
very good, very good. Maybe your mother was praying at night, like, oh, I hope he stops doing that. Wonderful, wonderful. Where do you think you got this thought process, this mindset? Did you learn yourself? Did you differ with your parents? That's why you have it, or did your parents give you this?
I say it's more of a combination. I think like growing up and being like learning from other people and things that I've seen, I sort of like shaped the way I viewed the world. I think my parents played like a huge role. Like they are my parents. You know,
Yeah.
I spend all my time with them. They have taught me a lot of things. But I think also being in school and looking at what other kids do, or just being on the news or just reading about what other people do, I think that's really shaped how I viewed the world. I think people's opinions aren't really shaped about their parents. I think like 50% of like, oh, your parents like will shape your views, and the other 50% is like what you do and like what you've learned and what you've like seen yourself and like what you've experienced, like the problems you face, what you've learned from them.
So do you have downtime? Do you take time for yourself? Do you do that?
I do.
yeah.
I do. I think it's like very important for people to like sit back and like reflect. I think if people are always busy and not taking
Like you
time
don't
for
want
themselves,
to be with the gadgets and the friends and the TV and all the time busy, or how do you take time off from everything? Like what do you do?
Well, I like walking outside.
Oh, okay.
I spend a lot of time just like walking on different trails, or just because we have a trail close by in our backyard. I usually spend time like walking near the trees and things. I think it's really like helpful for me to like clear my mind and think. Like if I have to like write a school paper, I'd walk outside for a few minutes, or if I'm stressed, I'd go outside.
So are you a good problem solver? Can you say that? Do you solve your own issues, or do you run to somebody?
I think I try solving my own issues. Sometimes I'm not solving them the best way, so I always try reaching out for help. I think it's very important to understand, like, if you have a problem with something, you should always try asking other people. I think if you always try doing things by yourself, I think you'll never really learn how to, like, change your way of thinking. Because, like, if you have a certain problem and you're, like, failing with it, you won't be able to, like, change your mindset if you're not talking to another person.
To get another viewpoint, basically.
Yeah.
That will help. So do you reach out to your parents? Do you trust them enough to give you good advice?
I think I reach out to a lot of people. I think it's important to have like a wide range of people you can trust on. Like if I have certain problems, like with school, I might talk to my brother or one of my friends, because they're also in that situation.
In that situation.
If I have a problem with like friends, I might talk to my parents.
Do you have good
or-
friends?
I have good friends. Yeah.
What is a good friend?
I think a good friend is someone you can lean on and like does things for you without expecting things back. I think
So they don't judge you?
they don't judge you. Like you can count on them, and you don't have to like, oh, you helped me out with this one thing, so now you owe me. It's sort of like,
Okay.
I'm going to do something because I like you.
That's a good definition for friend. Good. would you like to say that you have been always comfortable with your parents, or do you want them to be around all the time, or do you like the space?
I think space in any situation is important. Like I'm close with my family.
Okay.
But
it's not that you're running away from them.
Not running away. I think it's important to
That's
like
good.
be your own person and like do things by yourself.
So it means they let you do that, or
They
do
do,
you just do
usually.
you make sure that you want to have that? Do you have to
I think
fight
it's
for
a
it?
combination of both. Like my
Okay.
parents like understand like they were independent growing up,
Okay.
and they turned out like they learned a lot from that.
Okay.
So if I'm always like guided by my parents or like they're helicoptering me, like I'm never going to grow up or learn.
Yeah.
It's always like even as an adult, I'll still rely on my parents.
So is there any suggestion for parents who do not do that, what you have, like they let you be and make your mistakes and make your decisions? Any suggestions for teenagers or any suggestions for the parents? Like how can they have that balance?
I think that with most parents, like understanding, like giving your children more independence, it's sort of like reflecting back on your own self. Because everyone like was a teenager once, everyone was a kid once, and like you need to understand, like okay, when I was a teenager, did I want independence? How did my parents treat me? And how can I change?
So if
that?
they didn't get that treatment, they were very authoritarian parents that they got. Now they are in that position. So do you think they will repeat the cycle, or or human beings are capable of breaking that cycle?
I think they're capable of breaking that cycle. I think when people like truly like understand or like have like a self-awareness of their surroundings or how their life is shaped, they can truly like break that cycle. It's not like, oh, if you had an authoritarian parents, then your children are going to become authoritarian parents and so forth.
Not necessarily.
Not necessarily. I feel like people like it differs depending on your
So
environment.
wouldn't that's where it will become that if you're a conscious parent, like you have to be conscious and aware of what you're doing, your patterns, so that you can break the cycle which is not helpful for your own children and your relationship. Do you think
Yes,
being
I think it's
conscious is
also
more
like
important?
it's important to like connect with your children as well. Like I know like some parents like they're like, oh, I know what's right for my child. I know
Yes.
everything about them
Yeah.
because I'm their parent, I'm their guardian. But sometimes you also want to talk to your child, or like, suppose like you have a daughter and you want her to do this one thing, like oh, you have to like study medicine, right? And she doesn't want to, so you have to talk to her. Why don't you want to do this, or why are you interested in other things? So sort of like understanding that your viewpoint might not always be what's like the best for your child, even though you might think it is. Sometimes talking to your children, okay, why do you want to be independent?
Okay,
Or why
just
do you want to do
explore,
this?
connect, learn about why they're doing what they're doing or what they want. Very good. Maybe you can be counselors, parenting counselors. Wonderful.
I think I like that. Like I
Yeah.
think diversity is very important because when you're different, when you're with like-minded people, it's really hard to change your opinion. Versus when you're around like different people with different values.
They will
different-
challenge you?
They will challenge you.
Oh,
right?
okay.
I think it's important to learn from them
That's
and just like interact with them, because sometimes it gets boring if you're surrounded by the same people all
Yeah,
the time. I think if
exactly.
you're with new people, it's more like exciting and it's more like thought-provoking. Like you're actually actively thinking, okay, what does this person think?
So do you have friends from other ethnicities and faiths?
I do. I have a lot of friends. Like I also go to a Catholic school with my brother.
Okay.
And even though it's a Catholic school, there's also more religions. There's like people who are Jewish, people who are Hindus, people who are Buddhists. And I think I learned a lot from how they interact, how they see the world. And sometimes it's very similar. So I think like being surrounded by other Muslims, I think differently than being surrounded by like people of different cultures and faiths.
Wonderful, wonderful. Wow, I didn't know 16-year-olds were so mature. What is the best thing that you like about, first I should ask, are you connected to your faith? Do you like your faith, or you're just like, okay, I'm born Muslim, but I don't want to practice it?
I think I'm connected to my faith.
Okay.
I feel like being a Muslim is more than just like following a set of rules. Like because a religion isn't just following these set rules. It's like it's a lifestyle. You have to think like a Muslim. You have to accept its values. It's not like, oh, I'm going to pray 5 times a day.
And
that
then you're
makes
a
me
Muslim.
Muslim.
Okay.
That doesn't it. Like
Okay.
you have to actively think like a Muslim. Like
What is
adopt its
that? Like,
values.
let's say, give me an example.
I think
think like a Muslim.
Like showing kindness to everyone.
Maybe I should put this title, Think Like a Muslim. Okay.
I think like being kind, because like if you read like the Quran or just like being around any other Muslim.
So what is the Quran? So for the audience who don't know,
The Quran is like the Islamic holy book, basically.
that
Like
Muslims follow.
Muslims follow.
And
we-
Islam comes from that, the religion. Okay.
So I think like one big thing of Islam is, being kind to everyone and being very open-minded. So when you talk about being surrounded by other faiths, it's not like, oh, you're a different faith, I don't like you, or I don't want to talk to you. It's sort of, okay, I understand you, like I understand what you're thinking, I understand how you act, and I'm open-minded. I'm not going to like shun you off or shut you off because of that. And I think being kind, you always have to, kindness is just a basic thing. I think it's different from being like nice, because you have to be nice to everyone to be
Yeah.
polite, but being kind is different.
Yeah.
Like you're actively trying to make someone happy, you're actively trying to be good versus just treating someone politely.
Oh, wow. Where did you learn this from? But I know. So that's the best thing. Is there something that you don't like about your faith?
I think not the faith, but sometimes the people.
Culture?
I think like some people, like they always believe like the version of Islam that they grew up thinking or they were taught is the uli Islam that people are allowed to practice. Because I think Islam also talks about learning more about your religion and questioning your religion. Like
Oh,
our
that's so important. Say it
Yes.
again. Say it
learning
again.
about religion and questioning it.
Yep.
Because you always have to question what someone is saying. Like, is this actually what Islam says, or is this what I'm supposed to
Yeah.
believe
And
in?
it's not a blasphemy to question
It isn't.
whatever
It
you
isn't.
read. Even in the Quran, there is an
it's
ayat.
actively encouraged
yeah.
that you have to question.
In the Quran.
Because some
it is.
people, there's multiple interpretations. Not all Muslims think the same.
Yeah.
Not all,
Yeah.
Christians think the same.
Yeah.
So I think one thing I wouldn't like is how some people become very close-minded. I think, okay, my version of Islam and the way I practice it and the way I interpret it is the only way that people should
But there
interpret it.
there are some basics, which is
Yeah.
one. I mean, you can't keep.
Yeah, there are basics, of course, but like some
you
people,
can't change all the time.
change,
right.
but it's sort of like,
Yeah.
understanding your
Yeah.
faith and practicing.
Right. Tell me, what's the value of money in your life?
I think
How do you perceive it?
money is important, but I think it's not like, oh, money can buy happiness, but it can lead you to happiness. Like with my brother, like he spent money to go to Japan, but he had gained an amazing experience there. So money can lead you to those experiences and can lead you to be happy. Like if I wanted to go on a vacation with my parents, I would need money. If I wanted to, buy a present for a friend, I have to have
need
money.
yeah.
But it can't exactly make you happy. Like having a lot of money isn't going to make you happy.
Where did you
But
learn that from? Like, did you see the examples? Did you read about it? How do you know at this age? Because you're 16, and how do you know that money can't buy happiness?
I think I've seen that.
Okay.
I think with some kids who have rich parents or have rich family, they aren't exactly happy. It's sort of how they spent that money is how the outcome. They spent money to go on a nice vacation and they had a lot of fun there. Or for example with my brother, we could have used that money to buy something very expensive, but instead we used it to send him on a trip and he gained an amazing experience there.
Wow. Okay. Good. So, would you make money then still, or you don't want any money?
I think everyone really wants to try making money. I think it's not a greedy, selfish way, I want to be rich, or things like that. But the thing is having money to actually, A, support myself and other people, and B, actually, do things
Gives you the, I guess, what you call freedom to do things.
Yes.
Yeah.
I really want to travel, so I think having money.
Oh, you want to travel too?
Yes,
Oh, okay.
I think
Have you traveled anywhere by yourself yet?
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay.
But my family travels a lot.
Okay.
Or usually. My parents, I'd say they're good with money, so they're good with traveling. So
Good. Where do you plan to go if you travel?
I think either Spain, Switzerland, or Japan as well.
Okay, wonderful. Okay, let's talk about ego. Do you have ego? How do you perceive ego?
I think there's a balance of it. You shouldn't be too narcissistic, but you shouldn't just treat yourself, oh, I'm dirt, I hate myself, or I'm garbage, right? You always want to give yourself some ego, yes, I've accomplished this, and yes, I'm smart, and yes,
So there's a good ego and a bad ego?
Yeah, it's you shouldn't be narcissistic. I think you should have a good self-esteem, a good healthy ego.
Do you think you have a good self-esteem?
I think sometimes. I think I'm very harsh on myself sometimes. I got a 95, I'm stupid, or oh, I could have got it.
That must be the Desi parents.
That is
might
but
be
it's
the
sort of like even if I'm doing well.
Desi means like the Asian parents, right? I just said something.
I think like sometimes it's like if you don't appreciate your accomplishments, you're never going to find success. If you don't have a good ego, you're never going to be happy or be successful because you're always trying to be more. So I think like if you're too narcissistic, you're never going to try changing yourself. But if you don't have enough, you're never going to try doing anything.
Do you know how to say no when you or do you say yes to everything that comes?
Oh, I say no. I'm very stubborn.
Oh, okay.
Right? I think if I don't want to do something, I think I really will not do it.
Oh, okay.
I think one good thing about me is like I have a good tenacity, but it's sort of combined with like a stubbornness. So if I want to do something, I'm going to do it. Whereas if I don't want to do anything, I'm not going to go near it. No one's going to convince me.
So are you happy with yourself?
I think sometimes. I think like I know I'm a teenager, like I'm still young, but sometimes I might make like immature decisions. Like sometimes my parents might know better, and sometimes my friends might know better. And since I'm stubborn, like I don't want to listen to them.
But your friends are also your age, so they sometimes can be better.
Sometimes I feel like everyone thinks differently.
Okay.
I think sometimes there's like an ageism where like, oh, you're young, so your decisions don't count, or you're young, what you say doesn't really matter. But I think it doesn't really depend on how old someone is. It's sort of the experiences they've already had.
Wow. I have such a mature guy here. Another mature guy. I don't know what to do. I don't want to let them go. I want to interview them repeatedly. Maybe I should have a show with them. I think that's a good idea. Okay. I'm going on tangents. Who is, if I can ask, and if you don't want to answer, that's up to you, somebody who is most important person in your life? I know this is a personal question. I mean, you can't make, you cannot choose both parents, other than your parents.
Probably my brother. Okay. Like, he's really annoying, right? Sometimes I'm going to say that. He is a very annoying person. But I think he's sort of like my default friend. Like, even though I hate him sometimes, it's sort of like, it's very boring. Like when he was out in Japan, I was really bored. I'm like, I like spending time with my friends, but I can really like spend time with my brother. Do you guys do activities together? Sometimes. Like we have mutual friends. We have like mutual interests. Nice. I mean, I've been asking him to play football with me. He doesn't want to. Right? Sometimes he doesn't like want to do things. But I think a good thing about my brother, right, is like he always brings out like the best in people. Like in our friend groups, or like he's very popular sometimes, right? Does that bother you? Sometimes. Like, he has more friends than me. I'm like, okay. But like maybe you're like, more picky, more choosy, right? I think we complement each other. Like I tend to be more on like a shyer side. My brother tends to be more extroverted. And he always he makes everyone fall in love with him. Like everyone thinks he's awesome. He's very funny. And with me, I always tend to be like the opposite. But I think whenever I'm around him, I feel more confident. Like I feel happier. He's a support. He's like a support. He makes he brings out the best in people. But by the way, you are fine yourself too. So that's my opinion. I am enjoying talking to you here. So how do you take care of yourself? Like, do you get downtime? Do you meditate? Like you said, you walk. Anything else you do? I like listening to, I know it's not like reading. My mom doesn't consider it reading. But I like listening to audiobooks. Oh, okay. I do that so much. It is interesting. Oh, I love it. Because like you don't have to like read, you can like walk outside. Yeah. And then it doesn't restrict you. You don't have to be in a position. Yeah. Like let's say there's no light, you want to listen. Yeah, that's good. I think like something common. Yeah. Like it sort of like transports you to another world. Like you feel like you're there. You feel like you're more immersed. Like it's more immersive. Yes. And depends on the narrator, though. It is. Yeah. It does. Yeah. Some narrators. Not sometimes. Wonderful. I like to listen to audiobooks too. All right. Tell me, what do you think about wealth? How do you perceive it? Yeah. I'm not sure. Like I think like yes, it's. Are you wealthy? I think my family's like well off. I'd say like I've had most things. I'd say kind of spoiled sometimes. But I think having wealth isn't exactly a good thing. Okay. I think like having a lot of stuff isn't exactly going to equate to having good things. Do you consider your health to be wealth? I think sometimes. I think like wealth could be classified as like you have material things, but you also have mental things, like your mental wealth. Like, like you have a good connection with people, you are very happy, you're very healthy.
You have lots of friends.
You have lots of friends, like that's a good wealth, like being popular or being like social. I think that's a good amount of wealth. But versus having a lot of things is not exactly equate to being good.
What is the value of gratitude in your life?
I think I wish I was more gratitude, like
more thankful.
More thankful. Like
to,
I wish
to whom?
I think like to everything. I feel like sometimes it's very easy to ignore what you don't have, and you always pine for things like you do want and you don't have. So I think people mostly become like blind to what they already have. Like I have very good parents. I have a very good life. I can afford a lot of things. I have, a good set of friends. But sometimes I'm not thankful for it, and I really want to have more. Like,
so now you're saying it, so now it's in your system, so you will be more thankful. Okay. Any message of hope that you would like to give to the teenagers, to the world?
I think like value those around you. I think one thing that's very important to me is human connection. I think I value that more than anything. I think being around other people, interacting with other people. Like not like, okay, being around someone who's annoying or mean, but like having good company is very important and a good part of life. Like having fun with my extended family, I sometimes visit my cousins and I had like the best time with them. I like hanging out with my friends sometimes.
Nice.
And I think like being with other people, you should always cherish that because sometimes, you might always not have that. If you're very down or depressed or you're very busy, you might, not be with them. But I think, connecting with your peers, connecting with your parents, connecting with your siblings is very important.
Excellent. Do you have a purpose in life at this point?
I'm not sure. Like I always wanted to like make an impact in the world. I know it's very cliche, but I always wanted to like make a change, like be a change in the world.
Okay. All right. So maybe we don't have enough time to talk about your change that you have done, but maybe it's sometime we'll do that. Okay, my last question. What lights you up?
I think I already mentioned this, but again, it's human connection. Like
I
like being with other people. I think what lights me up is like having good company, being around people who are genuine, being around people who are fun to hang out with. And that really makes me happy. Like I think it very makes my day if I'm very down or upset about something, and I can go talk to my brother. He makes me happy. Or I can go talk to one of my friends. They make me happy.
So whom do you talk between your father and mother, or with whom you are comfortable?
I think probably my father the most. I think he's very relaxed. I think compared to my siblings, my brother might make fun of me. My mom, he's sort of overprotective. But I think my dad, he's always very calm, and he's always he's very laid back. I feel like I could talk to him about anything sometimes.
That helps. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Wonderful talking to you. Thank you for being here. Amazing answers.